Hello and welcome to World Festival 2021. It is my absolute pleasure to introduce our next speaker, Mr. Kevin Willems. He is the Java developer for iText. He'll be joining me on screen. Thank you.
Thank you for the introduction, Marcus. And hello, everyone. Welcome to our talk on PdfOptimizer, which is a compression tool for PDFs. My name is, like Marcus said, Kevin Willems. I've been working as a pre-sales engineer at iText. My expertise is Java, but as a pre-sales engineer, what I do is I mainly offer technical assistance to prospects and customers on different levels. This ranges from helping to set up proof of concepts to handling incoming feature requests, for example. So before we begin, allow me to quickly introduce iText as a company to you. So our focus lies within the PDF workspace. Anything regarding PDF creation, manipulation, consumption, extraction is something that can be done using iText's API. So we have a .NET and a Java API, and we also have some higher level business tools for non-developers. But the tool we'll be jumping in right now is PdfOptimizer, which is one of those low-level APIs. So I'll be going over why you would, first of all, what is PdfOptimizer, of course, why would you want to use it, what are the features, how does it work, and then some specific use cases. So PdfOptimizer is very simply put a compression tool that allows you to reduce the file size of your PDF documents. It allows you to do so in very much different ways, and all of them are customizable as well, which means you can enable some, disable others, or configure some of these as well. So why would you want to optimize the file size of your PDF documents? Well, the main reason is because it is cost efficient. We all know that more data equals more server space cost, but not only that, also more bandwidth, which is used, more RAM, CPU, etc., used for processing as well, which are, of course, very valuable resources nowadays. To give you an example, in 2016, the average enterprise stored about 300 terabytes worth of data. So you can imagine nowadays it's probably a bit more even. So let's take a look at what PdfOptimizer might be able to do for you. So generally, the resources within PDF documents are the things that contribute the most to bloating or memory consumption. So two of those big resources are images and font files. So these are the two, let's say, feature sets we'll be diving into right here. So let's take a look at how PdfOptimizer addresses images first. So we have a few optimizations for images. The first one being, I guess, the most easy one to think of, which is simply applying a compression algorithm to the image stream in order to reduce its size. Of course, like I said, you have the ability to alter what kind of compression algorithm you wish to use. So you have the ability to choose there. Maybe something similar, but not exactly, is image scaling, which is also possible. So for example, if you have high definition quality images in your PDF document, and you don't necessarily need those, for example, if you're keeping the document to archive it in the future, the images don't necessarily need to be of high definition. So we also allow you to scale images, depending on the type, of course. And doing that can also lead to very major size benefits. So this is an example of a scaled image. As you can see, of course, you lose quite some of the quality, but depending on the use case, that might or might not be relevant. And then one that is not often thought of. So when PDF documents are created, there are different ways you can add images. Usually you don't have control over this. This is usually in control of the tool you are already using. But it is possible to have two of the same images, yet the image is embedded twice in the document. So of course, this isn't unnecessarily gain in size. So this optimization is usually a no-brainer. So like I said, it's usually the fault of the tool that is used to create the document, but this can have very large impact. For example, if you have a header repeating on every page and that image is not being reused correctly, that could have a huge impact. So what PdfOptimizer does is it removes all of those duplicate image streams, and instead it references to one single image stream. So let's take a look at some font optimizations now. So the first one is font duplication. Again, similar to image duplication, it's possible that a PDF document contains multiple subsets of a font, which can bloat your file quite heavily again. And what PdfOptimizer does is very simply, it takes all of those subsets, it creates a parent subset, you could say, and it replaces the fonts or the existing subsets with that new one. So for example, in this file, the optimization was quite large, more than almost 2/3. So we were talking about subsetting in the previous example. So what subsetting is it is basically a collection of the glyphs that are used within your PDF document. So instead of using the entire font, it only uses certain glyphs, or it only embeds certain glyphs of that font inside of your PDF document. This is not always done by default. Sometimes a full font is embedded, and PdfOptimizer gives you the option to remove that full font and instead use a subset of said font. This can also have huge gains on your size. So for example, Arial has over 51,000 glyphs. And in this particular example that we just watched, we only need a very select few of those. So for this specific example, it would be very huge. But if you take a look at the average PDF file, we can still see that there's a very large gain or reduction, I should probably say, in size when we apply this font subsetting. Most of the times this is because multiple fonts are used within PDF documents, right? So just running this font subsetting sequence usually optimizes more than just one font. So some of the upcoming features that we're working on right now are compression of attached files. I think that's pretty obvious what that means. And then grayscaling content as well. So grayscaling might be a bit of a simplification here. We're looking at color conversions in general. So RGB to CMYK, and then eventually grayscale as well. So let's take a look at some use cases where PdfOptimizer might be useful. So let's imagine that we have a company which has tons of documents, millions of documents archived. This is a very common use case in PDF because, of course, you have the PDFA standard, which is a very good standard for archiving. It takes care of all the requirements, etc. So this use case is a very lifelike one, I think. So on each of these documents, they have a logo defined and embedded, and the logo consumes 1.2 megabytes of storage. So if we take a look at the process here, so we pull all of the PDF documents. It takes about 10 seconds to pull the document. We then run these documents through PdfOptimizer, where we simply do the image optimization, so the quality optimization. And in return, we get our documents with only a fraction of the size. It's less than half of the size, so a very large gain here. And then in this use case, this is the entire process. So then, of course, they have to still upload those new documents to their storage, which took about 1.2 seconds per document. So that's not all. One of their requirements was also to send the documents to a CMYK printer. So in general, without the file optimization, this took quite a while it would have taken quite a while to process all of the documents after running their tests. And it also led to a very high memory consumption, and they just needed quite some good hardware in general in order to get this done in the time they wanted to. So here, PdfOptimizer was also able to optimize the PDF documents, do some conversion there. And as you can see, there's again, a very large gain in operation speed, first of all, but also in memory consumption, etc. So for this particular customer, PdfOptimizer was very useful. These are just some examples, of course. Like I said, we've mainly looked into image and font optimization. This specific use case was only image optimization. So with the broad suite of PdfOptimizer, I think there are a lot of additional use cases that could be where it could apply. Yeah, so like I said, they saved not only on file size, but also process time, memory consumption, RAM throughput, etc. So that was about what I had. We have some additional time in case there are some questions. I will be taking a look at the chat right now. If anyone has any questions specifically regarding PdfOptimizer, maybe regarding iText in general, feel free to shoot them. We also have a booth here, so you're also always welcome to join that as well. I will also leave my email address in the chat in order to, if you have any additional questions afterwards, you can send me an email as well. So why Optimizer? So it's called PdfOptimizer because we see it as size optimization, right? We are able to reduce the size of PDF documents, which I guess we see as an optimization, which it is it not? Are there any, I see a question regarding, are there any plans regarding other programming languages? I see Vitor answered that one as well. But right now, we mainly focus on .NET and Java. I'm not sure exactly what languages you had in mind, but we see .NET and Java as the largest platforms where, specifically for PDF functionality, it fits very well in an enterprise solution, let's say, where these two languages are mainly used, right? So I'm not sure if I understand this question 100%. So maybe the question is there a specific programming language which was used for PdfOptimizer? So we originally developed it in Java, but we have .NET experts who are able to port the functionality we write in Java to .NET. All of the all of our changes that we push to Java, be it bug fixes, additional features, anything is also pushed to our .NET library. So this is a one-to-one. It's exactly the same library, is my point, just in a different SDK or a different programming language. Does anyone have any additional questions regarding anything PDF related? Like I said, iText is involved in basically anything that you could do with a PDF document. So anything functionality related, maybe. All right. Meanwhile, allow me to leave my email address behind. If anyone has any questions at all, feel free to send me an email. So why can a PDF not be edited when we want to edit any file? So if you have the right toolkit, you are able to edit a PDF file. The thing is, Adobe, usually people use Adobe, right? And depending on the Adobe product, you might be able to edit a PDF file. But usually Adobe Reader specifically is used to consume PDF files, not necessarily alter or manipulate. Of course, like I said, I'm not sure specifically what kind of edit you are talking about here. Maybe you can give some more details, but it is using iText. It is possible to edit PDF files. I'm not exactly sure what you have in mind. Maybe one interesting thing regarding editing PDF documents is the fact that reflow, so the act of so you have two pages and text runs from one page to the other. If you edit the text, it has to reflow. Some text has to go up, some might have to go down depending on what kind of edit you do. Reflow in general is pretty hard in PDF. So maybe you're having trouble with that. That's just a PDF thing. That's regarding the syntax of how a PDF document is created, let's say. Does anyone have any more questions or topics they would like to discuss? Yes, PDF is a format. Well, PDF is a container, to be honest, seeing as it's able to contain stuff like resources, images, fonts, etc. We call PDF a container, but technically, yes, it is a format. So with the trial link that Madeline posted in the chat, you're able to get a trial key for both .NET and Java. They contain also our main library or core library, which has the default PDF functionality, merging, splitting, editing, stuff like that, signing as well. And then you also have access to all of our add-ons. So PdfOptimizer, which we've gone over now, PDF HTML, which is used for HTML to PDF conversion, PDF Calligraph in order to render more difficult scripts like Arabic, etc., Hindu in your PDF document. We have our new add-on as well now, which allows you to convert Excel and Word files to PDF. And yeah, a ton more as well. Feel free to check it out on your own. If you have any questions regarding functionality or you're having an issue setting up some POC or whatever, feel free to send an email to me or any email address you can find on our website, and we'll be sure to help you out where we can.
Thank you for a great talk today, Kevin, at World Festival 2021. Attendees, to navigate to the next available speakers, click on the Sessions tab to the left. Thank you.